everybody. Today I will be presenting my niche, which is ska punk. Here are a few bands within the ska punk niche. Some of them you might know; they're quite popular. Others you might not know. It's not too popular of a brand or a niche, you would say. Um, but yeah, the music itself is very catchy and it's very it's very enjoyable. All right, some fun facts. So, ska originates from Jamaica in the late 1950s and was a precursor to rocksteady and reggae. Um, the ska part of it is influenced by like a Caribbean element type feel. It also has a little twist of American jazz and rhythm and blues. Um, it is a mix between two genres, being ska and punk rock, but like I said, there's other influences within it to make it a whole different type of genre. Um, it was really high in the 90s to late 2000s, but it's somewhat kind of making a return with all the new bands that are making music here and there. So it might come back, it might revitalize, but you never know. Um, in ska, the singer doesn't usually sing. He or she does something called toasting, where the singer the lyric person usually either sings or talks in a very fast motion and repeats the words in a certain way. Um, this was also a version that actually led into rapping in the 1980s. Furthermore, there is a dance within the ska niche called skanking. It's kind of like doing a Charlie Brown while doing a whole bunch of other R movements. It's very interesting, but they do have a form of dance to uh, the genre. For keep going. So the qualities. Um, most songs include a form of brass. You'll listen when you listen to the songs, you'll hear more of a trumpet. It's very common within the songs, and it's what makes the songs unique from other types of rock music. Uh, like I said, it has an upbeat tone to it. You'll hear the boost with the trumpets and the saxophones, and it'll just be very fast and upbeat. Like I said, it does include a form of woodwind instrument, preferably the saxophone. Um, but just like any rock music, it includes electric guitars, drums, and electric bass to give it that rock personification. Um, certain songs have more of a reggae feel to it, so you'll hear a form of reggae with a punk fusion, which is very interesting. Some songs actually include a keyboard. Some might have a piano, but that's pretty much like any other rock music. Um, so for the audience, as you can see in the model on the right, it's usually what an a person in the late 90s, early 80s would wear um, to describe their tone. I mean, they would wear a lot of checkered clothing. That's kind of like their signature, as you can see on it. Um, they also would wear this unique version of short pants with either like some sort of button-down shirt, whether it be a Hawaiian shirt or a dress down. But that's kind of like how it ties back to the Caribbean aspect of it. It's very twisting. But as far as the listeners, it goes to people who usually prefer in the California region or like coastal region. You'll see a lot of skaters and snowboarders listening to this type of music. People born in the 80s to late 90s still listen to this music on the constant. Teenagers get into it. Uh, Usually, also in modern day, you'll see this type of music in games, more sports and skating games. Um, it's very it ties with the whole concept of what you're doing in the game. It makes it a hands-on experience. Um, Also, in the 80s to the early 90s, and still kind of to this day, but mostly into the late 80s and 90s, this was very popular in the UK and Australia because they had their own form of ska punk going on over there. Um, and another my last description of an audience member would be someone who has more of a rebellious personality, someone with like spiked hair or like piercings and tattoos. You'll see those type of people listen to this type of music more than an average person would. All right, so the connection. It's very upbeat and gives off a very happy type vibe. The lyrics have a way of relating to the audience, whether it be if you're down in the dumps or if you're having a great time, because it's very versatile by having uh, different forms of versions of where you could sing with it. Um, it connects with the listeners by kind of boosting their morale by putting them in a good mood when they're down with the lyrics. And then, like I said before, it can pump you up with the excitement, the trumpets, the electrical instruments, the upbeat singing. It could really get you going. So for the band I chosen is Streetlight Manifesto. They're a very underrated ska punk band. They were formed in the 19 late early 1990s, and they had a good career during the late 1990s and early 2000s. Um, they have a few good hit songs that are very catchy and interesting. Um, the band has good lyrics to their music, and the instrumentals are very catchy and very much ska related. They do have an insane amount of variety, you would say, um, just like any other ska punk band would. They play with a lot of trumpet, so you could definitely hear that within the songs. Um, they're also very local, as they were founded in New Jersey, which makes them very likable to pick as a candidate. Um, they are somewhat known nationally, but like I said, they're very underrated. Not too many people know about them. It's rare to find a person who also listens to Streetlight Manifesto. And finally, not all of their music is pure upbeat ska. Like I said, they have a unique way of playing their songs into a build-up version of it, where they start low and like heavy, and then they come out and they just start playing on a heavy rhythm where it's just upbeat and joyful. So this was my presentation of ska punk. Uh, I'm glad I could present, and thank you guys. Hope everybody stays safe. Thank you.